Right now, all our text looks the same on this web page, but we want to give certain text more weight and other text less weight. We want it to have meaning. We want our main headers to be larger, our subheaders to be smaller. We want our body text to look one way. So let's start adding some semantic markup. This is called formatting your HTML. Let's select the first line of text, which is our simple text navigation bar. We can see by using the tag inspector at the bottom of the document window that this has a P tag that it's nested in. If I went to code view right now and looked at this, you can see that a P tag is wrapped around this line. So if you're not sure what kind of tags or formatting you have, you can always select it and look at the tag inspector. Let's click on Design View. I'm going to leave the navigation bar alone right now. We'll come back to it later. I'd like to start formatting the 3 headers that I have here. The first thing I notice is I'd like to keep it semantic, make it meaningful. I've talked about this over and over again. Main heading means it's the largest one, but heading 2, a better name for that would be a subheading. And heading 3 means it's going to be smaller. One of the things we know about heading is heading 1 down to 3. Heading 1 is our largest one, 3 is a smaller one, and we can go on down with the numbers getting smaller and smaller. Let's select main heading 1, including the H1 that indicates to us that we're going to make this an H1 format. Come down to your property inspector, go to your format drop-down menu, and select heading 1. There you go. Pretty big heading. It's done in the default style of the browsers and what's recommended by the W3C. This is exactly how it would appear in a browser if you added no style sheets. Let's select subheading 2 and apply, as I've indicated, an H2 tag. Go down to Format, click on the drop-down menu, select heading 2. So you can see this is really easy and fun. Select heading 3. We're going to apply an H3 tag or formatting to that. Select that, and now it's applied. If we go back to split view and match up our windows to look at that, we can see that heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3 are all applied. A great way to think about code is that it's a set of instructions that tells the browser how to display your page. So we're saying when you see these words, main heading 1, H1, put them in an H1 tag and display it that way in the browser. It's simply a set of instructions telling the browser what to do. Let's go back to Design View. This is going to be body text, and the P tag or paragraph tag is a perfect tag for that. But let's just check to make sure. When you're being a web designer, you can never err too much on the side of caution. Although you and I both know that this paragraph is probably in a P tag, let's select it and make sure. How do we check? We look down at our tag inspector and see that, in fact, it does have the P tag wrapped around it. I'm going to move and scroll up the page a little bit. The next 2 areas that we want to look at are lists, the unordered list and the ordered list. And I want to do this in split view so you can see how the code displays this. This is a more complicated tag, but it's one that you can do using your property inspector. Scroll up so that they match visually. There we go. There's our apples. You can see the apples there, and you can see our apples here. Let's select the apples, oranges, and lemons. Then look down at your property inspector, and you'll see that there's a bullet list, or that's what you'd call it in Microsoft Word. But in HTML, we call this an unordered list. The tag is UL. Let's click on that button. Notice what happened over here in Code View, and also what happened in Design View. In Design View, it added a bullet, it compressed the space or the line height of the items, and it grouped them as one main element. In Code View, this is very important to notice, UL is a mother or parent tag. It defines this whole grouping. It's saying that whatever appears within this tag will be part of an unordered list. An unordered list is just a group of things. It means they have something that relates to it, but they don't need to be in any particular order. So that's what an unordered list is. In this case, we have all kinds of fruit. It doesn't matter whether lemons is at the top or oranges is at the top. It's just a group, a generic grouping. And that is how we should use the unordered list tag, as a group of things. The child tag is the LI or line tag. needs an opening and closing tag, and you can have as many of the LI tags as you want. This is basically list item. The coders were smart when they named these. They used things that we could all remember. UL, unordered list, first initial of the two words. LI, list item. Or some people like to say line item. It doesn't matter, but it'll help you remember visually if you can think of these as being just initials for what they stand for. So you've got that. Let's go down to the ordered list. Ordered list has order of importance, usually 1, 2, 3, ABC, Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, something that matters what the order is. For instance, in this case, these are the 3 things my son does when he wakes up. Wake up, dress yourself, eat breakfast. So I'll go down to the property inspector, look for what we call the numbered list if you're working in Microsoft Word, but inside of Dreamweaver, we call this the ordered list or the OL tag. Dreamweaver instantly applies that. It works just the way the other list did. We have a parent tag, OL, that wraps around the entire grouping or the entire list. And then each list item or line has its own tag. In this case, it displays a little bit differently, in fact, a lot differently. It adds the numbers 1, 2, 3. Just like in Microsoft Word, we will be able to change these later on. We could have Roman numerals. We could have all different kinds of ordering numbers or alphabets here. The important thing to see here is that the order does matter, and that's why we use an ordered list. So don't confuse the two. One's a group of generic or related items, and the other one really has to do with showing importance from top to bottom. Now that we know how to apply HTML formatting, or what is called semantic markup, using the property inspector, we'll take a look at hand coding some of the tags and some of the markup.